You have to give it up to Bobby Green. After being just days removed from a 3-round fight at UFC 271, he agreed to step up on short notice to take a fight that seemingly nobody wants to take against Islam Makhachev. It's very cool to see a fighter like Green get the payoff he's about to receive. After many years in the game rife with ups and downs, the man has hit his stride and is currently the feel-good story of 2020. He has a lot of great qualities both as a fighter and as a personality. But it's the spirit of Bobby Green that resonates with the fan base the most. He's incredibly honest and very forthcoming about all aspects of himself and his game. He wears his heart on his sleeve and has no qualms about pouring it all out, both inside and outside of the octagon, and it endears him to the fan base. Becoming a UFC champion is the greatest achievement in the sport of MMA, but achieving longevity in this sport would have to be in second place in terms of achievement. And not only has Green achieved longevity, but he's done something that's incredibly rare, and that's achieved longevity and peak very far into his career. And after over 13 years in the game, his profile has never been higher, and his fan base has never been bigger. He talks the talk and walks the walk, and fans absolutely love him for it. He ain't about the nonsense. The guy is a fighter at his core, and it's no wonder he's gone as far as he has in this sport. I covered UFC 271 on location in Houston, and there was something different about the walkout that night. There was energy from him and the fans in attendance that just hit, and it evoked everybody to get out of their seats and get hyped. Since his very active 2020 schedule and heading into the last fight, Green has earned himself a lot of fans. And at UFC 271, it all just seemed to have culminated to this big breakout night for the slugger. Aside from being as game as they come, he just has a style that's incredibly enticing to the fan base. The man has a wrestling base, but it's his striking skills that has been putting asses in the seats. If you ask me, it's an incredibly brazen way to compete. Walking straight into that pocket with his hands on his hips, it just seems like a very risky way to go about things, especially when competing in the most talent-rich division in the sport. But it works perfect for him. He keeps his hands low, but the guy can box. He moves his head and has a high output and really great accuracy. In a post-fight interview of his fight at UFC 271, I asked him about his unique striking style and asked if he takes influence from anybody. He told me that when he was living with a foster family as a young troubled kid, the dad would take him in and just play Ali videos for him. Green watched how he moved as a young child and would start to mimic him. So he says that Muhammad Ali is his #1 influence, and that effective jab we've seen him fluster so many people with is directly influenced by Muhammad Ali. He mentioned that second to Ali, Floyd Mayweather heavily influenced his boxing, and that growing up, he watched every single one of his fights and credits a big part of his style to Money Mayweather. Clearly the recipe has worked because the man is riding a 2-fight win streak over solid competition, courtesy of that dynamic, balls-to-the-wall style of fighting. But make no mistake about it, as much as we're celebrating Green and how much we'll celebrate him on Saturday whether he wins or loses, the guy has a very tall order in front of him. Islam Makhachev is probably the single hardest fight in the division right now. Word is that basically nobody else wanted this opportunity to fight him, and that's for good reason. The level of grappling prowess he has is just on another level. Never mind the fact that Green is stepping up on extremely short notice and after ballooning up to over 190 pounds in his much-deserved post-celebration relaxation and leisure time. Makhachev is an absolute mountain to climb at the best of times, but under the circumstances Green has agreed to fight him under, it's making that mountain twice as high. But you'd have to be crazy to think that he doesn't have the ability to go out there and shock the world. The odds aren't in his favor to say the least, but Green's striking skills are better than Makhachev's, and there's no two ways about that. Makhachev's only loss on his record comes by way of knockout, and it happened at UFC 192 in Houston, Texas, the exact same location of Green's last win the other week. It was a long time ago. Makhachev has most certainly improved exponentially since then, but the guy isn't invincible, especially as long as this fight is staying upright, which is where you have to imagine Green is going to try to keep it. But honestly, under these circumstances, it isn't even so much about the wins and losses as much as it's about the performances. And if there's one thing Green has shown us, is that when the lights are on, the guy performs, and I expect nothing less of him come Saturday night. He has shown us that persistence is key, and has exemplified the perfect attitude to finding success in this game. Bobby Green is on the path to big things, and he's doing and saying all the right things along the way.